This is another method to solve systems of linear equations. When you were in 8th grade, you probably learned elimination method and substitution method. And we did before graphing method. Okay? This method is very, very simple because this is like the one used by calculators. They will do only multiplications, additions, subtractions, and divisions. Okay? Only arithmetics. So this is Cramer's rule. So after you copy this, we go to this one where you learn how to build the determinant. So this is a system, 2 by 2. 2 equations, 2 variables, x's and y's. Okay? In this Cramer rule, you have to start by building D. In D, you are going to have the column of the x and the column of the y. Then there will be, besides D, dx and dy. So to solve this little system, you need to build 3 determinants and evaluate the 3 determinants. So copy all that now. Okay, so, but Cramer rule is only this simple operation. Cramer rule says that to get the value of x, you need to divide the dx over the d. So to find x, you need to divide the value of dx over the value of d. And to find y, you need to divide the value of dy over d. And that will give you the answers or the solutions of the system. And just that. Okay, so let's solve this system. Cramer says that you need to start building or writing the determinant. In the determinant, you have to use the column of x and the column of y. In the column of x, you have 1 and 2. In the column of y, you have -3 and 3. Right? And the rest is easy. 1 times 3 is 3 minus 2 times -3 is -6. You have 2 negative signs. That becomes positive. So it would be 3 plus 6 is 9. It means that D equals 9. Now, dx. For dx, the rule says don't use x. And this is the constant column. So instead of doing dx's, you have to write 6 and 3. So the constants and the y's. The y's are -3 and 3. And now the same work. 6 times 3, 18. Minus 3 times -3, -9. That would be again a plus, and that's 27. So if you wanted to know x for Cramer, dx is dx over d. That would be 27 over 9, and that is 3. So now we know the value of x in the system. Because you just need to divide the value of dx, 27, over the value of d, which is 9. Finally, dy. For dy, is don't use y, so we can use the x's, 1 and 2. But we don't use y, we have to use the constant, 6 and 3. And repeat the process. 1 times 3 is 3, minus 2 times 6 is 12. That would be -9. So the value of y is dy over d, -9 over 9, and that is -1, and we solve the system. Okay, so this is Cramer rule for a 3 by 3 system. 3 equations and 3 variables, x, y, and z. Now the constants are the d's, okay? The constants are those numbers without variables. So these are the constants. The rule is the same. You have to build d, the column of x, the column of y, and the column of z. Now, to build dx, you don't use x. Now you have to use the constants. But the constants we said are the d's. So here you have the d's, the y's, and the z's. For dy, you don't use y, so you have the column of the x, but not the column of the y. You have to use the constants, and then the z's. And there is one more, dz, x, y, but not z, so you have to use the constants. Finally, Cramer says that to find x, you need to divide dx over d. To find y, you need to divide dy over d. And to find z, you need to divide dz over d. But let's see one example. Copy the example, please. All right, so this is the system, and we begin building D. So remember, in D, you need the column of X, Y, and Z. So here we have 1, 1, 2. Then the Y's is 1, -1, and -1. And the Z, 1, 1, and 3. Step number 1 is to rewrite the first two columns. 1, 1, and 2. In the second column, 1, -1, and -1. Always begin the multiplication in 1, 1. So first going downwards. The first diagonal, one negative sign, and it's 3. The second diagonal is plus. There is only positives, and then the answer is 2. 1, 1, and 2 is 2. Plus, the third diagonal has only one negative sign, so the negative answer, 1, 1 times 1 is just 1. This equals to -3, -1, -2. Minus here, big minus, so you don't forget to do the minus. And then probably another color. So we have ascending diagonals, only one negative, so it's negative result. 2 times 1 times 1 is 2. Plus, second diagonal has negative, positive, and positive. That would be -1. Plus, the third one, it's only positives. 3, 1, and 1 is 3. Equals -3 plus 3 is 0. -2 minus 0 is -2. It means that D equals -2. That is just D. Now we have to build dx. So dx, don't use x. So we have the constants here, which are 6, 2, and 6. Then the y's and the z's. The y's are the same, 1, -1, and -1. And the z's are 1, 1, and 3. Again, rewrite the first two columns, 6, 2, 6, 1, -1, -1, and begin the multiplication here in 1, 1. Going downwards, one negative sign is negative, 6 times 3, 18. Plus, second multiplication, all is positive, 1, 1, and 6 is 6. Plus, third diagonal has one negative sign, 2, 1, and 1 is 2. The answer would be -20 plus 6 would be -14. Minus the next one. It's an ascending diagonal. There is one negative, so 6, 1, and 1 is 6. Plus, then there is one negative, 6. Plus, there is only positives, 3, 2, 1 is 6. Equals. That would be -6 and +6, 0, so -6. So the answer for dx would be -14 minus -6, that is +6. So dx equals -8. It means that if you want to know x, what do you have to do? dx over d. That would be -8 over -2, and the answer is 4. There is x. Now we need to find dy. For dy, we have to use the x's, the constants, and the z's. The x's are the same we have here, 1, 1, and 2. The constants are these values, 6, 2, and 6. And the z's were 1, 1, and 3. So it's the same getting them from here or going directly to the system and finding the values. So again, you have to repeat like the first two columns, 1, 1, and 2, 6, 2, 6. Beginning 1, 1, first multiplication, all positive, so it's positive 6, plus second multiplication, this one goes here, right? So this is the second multiplication, all is positive, 6, 1, and 2 is 12, plus the third multiplication are those, only positives, 1, 1, and 6 is 6, equals, that would be 1824, minus, don't forget this negative sign. Now we have the ascending diagonal, only positives, we have positive 4, plus the next diagonal is this one, all are positive, 6, 1, and 1 is 6, plus the third one, all are positive, 3, 1, and 6, 18, equals, this is 10, 28. 24 minus 28 is negative 4. So if we want to find y, we need to divide dy over d. dy is negative 4. d is negative 2. It means that y equals positive 2. There we have y. And one more time to find z. So to find z, we need dz. For dz, we have the column of x, the column of y, but don't use z. We have to use the constants. The column of x is 1, 1, and 2. The column of y's is 1, negative 1, and negative 1. And the constants are here, 6, 2, and 6. Repeat the process. 1, 1, and 2. 1, negative 1, negative 1. Begin with 1, 1. First multiplication is negative 6, plus second multiplication is positive 4, plus third multiplication is negative, there is a negative sign, 6, equals negative 12 plus 4 is negative 8. Big minus to remember. And then we have these three, there is a negative sign. It's negative 12, plus, this is the second one, there is a negative sign, there is a 2, plus, the last one, only positives, 6, equals, negative 12 and 6 is negative 6, minus 2, negative 8. So, negative 8 minus 8 equals, it's a plus, 0. It means that z equals 0 over negative 2, and that is 0. We're done. We have the three solutions. Okay, so your homework is using the green book over there. Questions 29 to 34, all. Those are 2 3 by 3 and 2 2 by 2. This is the solution for question 29, and this is the solution for question 32. Begin with these two questions to make sure that you can answer the rest of the questions.